Hello my dearest chess friends and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is International Master Camila Ciobanu, and in this video I would like to show you how to attack with a king. And as you can see, we have an end game, and it results from the game played by Mamediyarov as white against Karyakin, even a recent game, yes, from this year. And we are at move number 26, and I like so much the way that white led the army to victory, and I'm sure you're curious to see it as well. Okay, so in this position we can see that we've got an end game with a pair of bishops on both sides, but the position is not quite open yet, and they both have doubled pawns. White has doubled pawns on the G file and black has doubled pawns on the C file. Okay, and they both have a pawn infiltrated into the opponent's territory. White has a pawn infiltrated on D5, black has a pawn infiltrated on F4, but it looks like white's bishops are better placed because they have so much space on those diagonals. Okay, so what is white going to do in this position? He plays king to f1. Okay, move number 26. The king starts to march on toward the center. Okay, black plays pawn to g5, and the king goes on and on. White will try to infiltrate black's position with the king. Okay, so we should remember this. Pawn to b6, king to f3. Of course, white would not go to e4 directly after that, because then bishop g6 would come with a check and white would be losing the bishop. So white has to pay attention to such threats. So once black plays pawn to h6, now first bishop f5, quindi first the infiltration with the bishop to cover the king when the king is going to occupy the center. King to f8, and now finally white reaches the center with his king while black cannot do it, and this makes white an attacker and black a defender. Can you see black's pieces are quite passive? Okay, so pawn to a5, so all the pawns defend each other except from c7 and h6. Okay, so black will have to pay attention and defend those pawns otherwise. Okay, so bishop to h7. Can you see that now the king cannot go back, and now black will not be able to bring the bishop on g6 anymore to check the king, and so white intends to enter black's territory with a king, even if it black will attack it, like check on d7, then the king could go to g6 and attack the weak pawn on h6. Probably white will have to push f3 first to defend g4. Okay, let's see, bishop d7 attacking the pawn, and indeed pawn to f3 to defend it, and black is trying to keep white from infiltrating with the king on f5. Okay, but now black plays surprisingly but not really, bishop to a4, because obviously if white brings the king to f5, then check on c2 and white loses the bishop. So again, now white has to stop this bishop from entering c2. He plays pawn to b3, the bishop goes back. And what is white going to do? White will try to bring black into a Zugzwang position, because he's got such less space, you know, a little space. And now white will fix black's pawn structure on the queen side. And what is black going to play now? Let's see, he can't move the bishop from d6, or I mean he could, but that he leaves the e5 square unprotected. He can't go with the king on the e7, for example, because then bishop g7 comes and attacks the pawn. Okay, so what black did was king to f7 at this point. And now in order to be able to infiltrate on f5, this is the critical square, the entrance square toward black's territory. So now white will even trade the bishops. This is white's bad bishop. He trades it for black's good bishop. Okay, but black will refuse the proposition. Okay, bishop to e8, check. Now white infiltrates on e6, on that outpost. And finally, if it didn't work to trade that bishop, white will do his best to trade the other one. Okay, so let's see. Now black plays pawn to h5, just to get rid of that weak pawn on h6. Okay, and finally white does not have the doubled pawns anymore, and now it's the moment that white can get inside black's king side. Okay, king f5 finally. Okay, check, the king goes down again, and now black will trade this bishop. Okay, and black goes after the pawns on the queen side with his bishop, and white obviously will go to take the pawn on c7, make d5 a passed pawn, and promote it eventually. So let's see how this endgame proceeds. Okay, they take these pawns, and black has a passed pawn too. Take f2, one step from promotion, but here we come with a discovered check. King g3, d7, and now white will win the queen's endgame because of white's king on c7. This king is already on the queen side where all these pawns can be easily captured. So white has one pawn up in this moment, but black just balances the situation quickly. And let's see, white plays bishop b5 to defend the pawn on c4, check. One of the pawns is falling and the other two are attacked. Bishop takes c4, check, and now white will start checking black's king until the bishop on c4 is attacked twice. Okay, probably white can win here even by taking on c4 with a bishop, but first of all, what white is doing, he's bringing black's king very far away from the queen side. You'll see, and then he will take the bishop anyways. Okay, check, check, and finally check. And the king is on the king side, basically extremely distant from the queen side. Okay, so now take on c4, queen d7, check, and in a few moves black resigns. Okay, king takes c5, and now obviously at move number 69 white has a winning position and black resigned. I think this is such a beautiful endgame, and we saw how powerful a king can become when he gets inside the opponent's territory, attacking the weak pawns, capturing them, creating passed pawns, and then promoting. And this is the endgame strategy for winning. Thank you so much for your attention, my dear friends, and I'll talk to you soon.